I'm sort of feeling like I should be gone more.
Have you been gone?
Nope. Our gospel lesson this morning is from the Gospel of Matthew, the 25th chapter. I'll be reading 34 through 45. Come you that are blessed by my Father, inherit the kingdom prepared for you from the foundation of the world. For I was hungry, and you gave me food. I was thirsty, and you gave me something to drink. I was a stranger, and you welcomed me. I was naked, and you gave me clothing. I was sick, and you took care of me. I was in prison, and you visited me. Then the righteous will answer him, Lord, when was it that I saw you hungry and gave you food, or thirsty and gave you something to drink? And when was it that we saw you a stranger and welcomed you, or naked and gave you clothing? And when was it that we saw you sick or in prison and visited you? And the king will answer them, Truly I tell you, just as you did it to one of the least of these who are members of my family, you did it to me. You that are accursed, depart from me into eternal fire, prepared for the devils and his angels. For I was hungry, and you gave me no food. I was thirsty, and you gave me nothing to drink. Naked, and you did not give me clothing. I was a stranger, and you did not welcome me. Sick and in prison, and you did not visit me. Then they will answer, Lord, when was it that we saw you hungry or thirsty or a stranger or naked or sick or in prison and did not take care of you? Then he will answer them, Truly I tell you, just as you did not do it to the least of these, you did not do it to me. It's good to be home and good to be here. While it was also good to be away, to see a different part of the world, to spend time with family and to spend time alone with Jennifer, I regret not being here to mourn and celebrate with you Dr. John Chenault's life and ministry in this place. My sincere thanks to those who participated, especially Reverend Seiler and Dr. Nunley, and also Dr. Blair and Dr. Smith and the choir, and all who helped in any way with the meal. I know that it was a great day. And thank you for today. As Meredith and I talked about this day, coming up with the idea of welcome home, it was not really meant to be about me. And I'm grateful that it has not been about me, but rather about all of us feeling at home, finding our home in this place within this community. We wanted it to be a celebration of the hospitality we practice at First Christian Church, where all are welcome at Christ's table and all are welcome at our tables of fellowship. As I chose the title for this sermon, Why Not Here, Why Not Now?, I was thinking about trying to treat our time together a little bit like a pep rally. I would hearken back to my days many years ago when I was a coach and trying to fire up the team to get out there and win one for the bald guy. Why not here? Churches are just like sports teams. There are successful times and there are sparse times. There are seasons often lasting for decades when certain churches are the place in the community to be. First Christian has been that kind of a place in the past. I call them hot churches. But no church, like no team, stays hot forever. Kentucky fans, think of that time between Tubby Smith and John Calipari, if you will. And it's not that they aren't great churches, it's just that they are not hot now. not the most popular now. Recognizing that we may not be one of the hot churches in Frankfort right now, I wanted to encourage us, to challenge us, to do whatever it takes to become the hot church once more. To have visitors every week, to have people joining regularly, to see our children and youth groups growing, to be the place where the kids want their friends to come and be with them too. Why not here? And why not now? It can be our time again. And I wanted to tell you that it is time. This church is filled with good people, faithful people, loving people. We have leaders and we have workers. We are doing wonderful ministries. We are generous in our giving. We care for one another and love one another. We have put the bitterness and mistrust that has sometimes been present in the past, we've put it behind us. So why not here, and why not now? I want it to be the cheerleader that brings people to their feet, kind of like the band. Clapping, cheering, getting excited to get out there and make First Christian Church the popular church it can be. But then I decided on the gospel lesson, mistakenly thinking that I understood what it said. But when I read it more closely, when I read it more humbly, when I read it more honestly, I recognized that Jesus doesn't care one bit about which church is hot and which church is popular. I believe that may have been what the second group of people in this parable thought about themselves and their church. They thought that being popular was the way to be blessed. But instead, what this parable tells us is that humble faithfulness is what is important. Feed the hungry. Give water to the thirsty. Welcome the stranger. Clothe the naked. Bring comfort to the sick. Visit the ones who are in prison. So I had to ask myself, is it even possible to be both the hot church and a faithful church? I'm sure the answer is yes. A church can be popular and do true ministry, but too often, I fear, when a hot church starts to look at itself, feel a bit proud, hold its head up high, and begin to pat itself on the back, that it also may begin to lose sight of its ministry, doing its ministry, and simply seek to maintain its popularity. They think to themselves as having it made of always being right and of others usually being wrong. Like the second group in Jesus' parable, they think that everything they do is blessed by God, and so they too will be blessed. They like being hot, popular, the place to go. And they become more interested in discovering ways to stay hot than to do ministry for those who are in need. They spend their money tearing down their warehouses and building bigger ones rather than taking care of those who live under the bridge or in the men's shelter or the Simon House or the women's shelter, or whose kids go to King's Club. The first group in the parable, the group with low esteem, feeling like total failures, hang their heads believing they have fallen short. Perhaps they once were hot, but now they're not. They are discouraged and believing that they have failed at every turn. They live their lives with grace and generosity, but never doing new programs, building bigger buildings. Instead, they go about their ministry of helping others when they can, but they never have enough. And they feel like they never do enough. The need never ends. There are always more to feed, more who are thirsty, more who are naked or homeless, more who are ill, and more strangers, and ever more in prison. And they get tired. And they get tired of how the people they'll help seem to feel entitled instead of thankful. But they muddle on anyway. Friends, I would like to be the popular senior minister of the popular church in Frankfort. I would like to have the television audience to see the church like this, full and running over every week at 10:45. I would love to be so filled at the 8:30 service that we had to think about moving over here. I would love to set up more tables at 5 o'clock because there's not enough room about the tables we have. I would like to be the popular lead pastor at the popular church in Frankfort. But when I am really honest, I know what I really want. My deepest desire is for this church to continue to be faithful, feeding, giving, clothing, visiting, welcoming, right here, right now. Amen.